We had never exchanged a single word before agreeing to play together. That is the jaw-dropping admission from Jannik, one of the most exciting tennis talents of the moment, and it has sent a wave of curiosity and shock through fans worldwide. How could two professionals, both led by passion and ambition, choose to forge a mixed doubles alliance without so much as a friendly greeting in the corridor or a courtesy text? What is really happening behind the scenes? And why would the United States Open organizers be so adamant about making this pairing a reality? Today, we are delving deep into this astonishing tale of unexpected partnerships, tournament reshuffling, and powerful personalities in the world of tennis. In this episode, we will dissect how this unorthodox collaboration came together, why Jannik and Emma Navarro have been pushed toward each other by forces larger than themselves, and whether or not the decision will shake up the tennis establishment on the eve of one of the biggest events of the year. We will also unravel the complexities of moving an entire mixed doubles competition to a separate time slot, the hidden impulses that drive players to say yes to last-minute proposals, and the comedic fear of a professional athlete who worries he might drag down a partner renowned for being superior at volleys. Strap in, because we have a labyrinth of motives, feelings, and behind-the-scenes deal-making, all culminating in what promises to be a cliffhanger event on the tennis calendar. Let us jump straight into this enthralling story and see whether the never-spoken dynamic might become the highlight of the United States Open. It all began with a flurry of speculation when the official statement emerged that the standalone mixed doubles portion of the United States Open would be played earlier than usual, specifically on August 19th and 20th, designed to avoid direct clashes with the main draw that begins on August 24th. According to the official line from the organizers, this scheduling adjustment was introduced to encourage more top singles players to consider the mixed doubles bracket. After all, the typical grind of a Grand Slam can leave participants exhausted and unwilling to chase glory on multiple fronts simultaneously. But behind those formal statements, we hear the whisper of hush-hush negotiations and personal phone calls orchestrated by the powers that be. Rumor has it, the tournament officials had a dream list of intriguing duos they wanted to see on court, a new way to keep fans hooked from the earliest days of the championship. Mixed doubles sometimes struggles to match the electric energy of men's or women's singles, and the organizing committee just might have decided to give it a jolt of star power. One of the most surprising results of this push is the combination of Jannik, the Italian dynamo, and Emma Navarro, the American talent famous for her calm composure. Neither had sought the partnership themselves. At least that is what Sinner claims in a candid moment of brutal honesty. They were drawn together by the explicit desire of the event's administrators to see interesting, attention-grabbing pairings. Imagine the scenario. An in-demand player steps off the court and gets approached with an offer that sounds irresistible and maybe a bit random. The official line might be, "We have a proposition for you. How about you pair up with Emma Navarro?" Meanwhile, Emma herself might have been receiving an identical pitch in the tournament office. On paper, they had never shared a conversation, not even a courtesy chat on social media. Yet, here they are, putting their trust in each other for a high-stakes professional match, expected to dazzle the crowd and deliver enthralling tennis. For Jannik, this is not just an amusing anecdote about never texting his partner before. Mixed doubles is not always a realm where he has felt the most comfortable. With an aggressive baseline game and an unrelenting focus on singles, Sinner was one of those fast-rising players often hesitant to allocate extra energy to additional events. He places enormous emphasis on technique and consistent ground strokes, but among the whispers around the tennis circuit, there is always that question: will his net play hold up? Fans have noticed how Sinner's volley game, while never poor, has sometimes lagged behind other aspects of his arsenal. So the fact that Navarro is widely credited with excellent volley skills poses an interesting dynamic. Sinner's own confession has a self-deprecating ring. "I hope she does not get angry at me because she is definitely better at volleys than I am." In a single statement, he manages to sound both playful and earnest. He wants to impress this new partner and reassure her that he can hold his own on the mixed doubles stage. On the other side of the net, Emma Navarro exudes a quiet confidence. She is not one to brag, but she has established herself as a solid doubles player with an excellent feel for net play, reading angles, and controlling the ball in more intricate, close-range exchanges. So, if one side of the duo is uncertain about net prowess, the other has it in spades. You might think that shared skill sets are enough to guarantee a harmonious blend, but tennis is far more psychological than people realize. There is a delicate dance in doubles, balancing trust, synergy, and mutual encouragement. Mixed doubles often involves a unique dynamic, physically, tactically, and emotionally. The men might hit with more raw power, while the women bring precision and strategies specifically tailored to exploit space. When these two skill sets align, the results can be magical, but in the absence of prior communication, there is always the possibility of friction. Before we move on, here is a friendly reminder. If this revelation about two talented tennis stars jumping into a high-profile team-up without so much as a "hello, how are you" piqued your interest, consider showing some love right now with a like. It might seem like a small gesture, but it helps others discover these captivating sports stories. Now, let us plunge deeper and see how these two are preparing to merge their skill sets. Recently, both Jannik Sinner and Emma Navarro were seen at Wimbledon, which is where they apparently met for the very first time, quite literally introduced by a mutual acquaintance or official. That is the moment, as Sinner revealed, in which they laid eyes on each other not just as potential competitors, but as prospective allies for August's spectacle. Picture the scenario: the grand storied lawns of the All England Club, with its ivy-covered walls and meticulously trimmed grass, hosting these players in separate corners of the draw. Meanwhile, an official extends an invitation to Sinner. Come by the press room after your session. He arrives to discover that he is expected to say hello to Emma Navarro, who is also waiting, perhaps with a mixture of curiosity and mild awkwardness. Within that fleeting minute or two, they realize that they share a single mission: figure out how to become a coherent, united force on the mixed doubles court in time for the early competition at the United States Open. The comedic element in this entire affair heightens when you consider that each has a jam-packed schedule. Jannik Sinner was gearing up for a showdown with Luka Nardi, while Emma Navarro braced herself for an intimidating first match against Petra Kvitova, a formidable force on grass. Neither of them is exactly short on responsibilities. They are each embroiled in their own quest for Wimbledon success. So, how do they find time to strategize or cultivate that elusive team chemistry? Typically, mixed doubles pairs refine their synergy by practicing drills, learning each other's tendencies, and ironing out who takes which shots in a chaotic mid-rally scenario. Will they schedule extra joint training sessions? Or is it more feasible to rely on minimal conversation and trust in each other's instincts? Some cynics might say, surely this is just a marketing ploy arranged by the tournament to stir up drama. They might point out that tennis thrives on stories, especially in an age of social media and quick-clicked headlines. Never-before-spoken teammates set to astonish the United States Open is one of those narratives that practically writes itself. However, from the vantage point of a fan, is that necessarily a bad thing? People love to see spontaneity and unknown quantities, whether it is two champions from different tours gleaning new insights from one another, or a pair of previously unknown individuals blossoming into an unstoppable tandem. The man who is known for baseline power combined with the woman who thrives at the net, there is potential for enthralling synergy. One wonders if this union could unexpectedly dominate or at least produce some highlight reel moments. Something about that unpredictability, that intangible spark, makes you want to follow every step of their progress. Meanwhile, the United States Open is championing this new arrangement of playing the mixed doubles on August 19th and 20th. In their view, this experimental scheduling might pave the way for more star collaborations in the future. Imagine if other top singles names, historically cautious about wearing themselves out, see that they can close out the mixed doubles in a couple of days and then refocus on the main events. It might inject fresh life into a discipline that often lurks in the shadows. Indeed, longtime tennis followers recall epic moments in mixed doubles when top 10 singles players decided to team up, generating a surge of public interest and newspaper headlines. Perhaps the tournament is hoping for a wave of new fans indulging in the art of volleying and swift reflexes, not to mention that special brand of synergy that emerges when a man and woman unite on the same side of the net. In press conferences, Jannik Sinner's remarks have been delightfully candid. He went so far as to reveal, "The tournament wants us to play together, and the choice was not so random." For a professional athlete to be so open about the behind-the-scenes impetus is unusual, especially since public discourse usually focuses on personal reasons or the pursuit of trophies. By naming the tournament's role in orchestrating the pair, he is shining a spotlight on the deeper mechanics of tennis. There is star power, And there is also a strategic vision on the part of organizers. Indeed, they may have used advanced metrics or generated an internal list of cross-gender partnerships that they believe will excite spectators, especially younger fans. Tournaments are run like businesses, ever in search of fresh angles and captivating narratives. So, the synergy between Sinner and Navarro might be more carefully engineered than people realize. That said, performance ultimately rests on two individuals cooperating effectively. One can only imagine how the first training session, possibly squeezed into the hectic days at Wimbledon, must have gone. Perhaps they tried a few warm-up volleys across the net and exchanged encouraging laughs. Mixed doubles demands quick reflexes in the forecourt, as each player may find themselves leaning over the net to swat away a decisive volley. The margin for error is smaller than in singles, particularly with an opponent sometimes blasting shots from mid-court. Communication is key. Calls of mine, or a quick wave of the hand can prevent collisions or wasted opportunities. And yet, after only a short introduction and a spur-of-the-moment arrangement, Sinner and Navarro found themselves with a mere moment to form that synergy. Of course, the question arises, is it possible for two near strangers to triumph against seasoned mixed doubles pairs who have shared a sense of partnership for years? Some might see it as a Cinderella story in the making, while others might predict a swift exit from the competition once they face a duo that truly knows each other's patterns. Then again, sport often thrives on the improbable. Many fans will be tuning in just to see if this comedic fear that Sinner expresses, his concern that he might let Navarro down at the net, turns into a real strategic Achilles heel. Or perhaps her strengths at the net will free him to focus on aggressive baseline strokes, creating a perfect blend. Just imagine the unstoppable engine that emerges if both players can do what they do best. That uncertain synergy is certainly part of the reason this topic has ignited curiosity. The unpredictability resonates with many people who watch sports to witness the drama of not knowing whether a new pairing can blossom or collapse under pressure. Beyond that, we also face a genuine question. Is this move from the tournament an early sign of a broader shift in how tennis will be packaged, scheduled, and sold to the viewing public? If more and more players like Jannik Sinner are persuaded to shake hands with a female star they have never met, all for the sake of trying out a fresh combination, we might be stepping into a new era of cross-disciplinary collaborations. While all this is happening, both players must keep their eyes on the big prize of their respective singles campaigns. Jannik Sinner has never hidden the fact that he sees himself as a future Grand Slam contender, always pushing to refine his game. Meanwhile, Emma Navarro, with her calm presence on court, spells danger for any up-and-coming juggernaut who assumes she will be an easy prey. Over at this year's Wimbledon, the tension is ratcheted up even higher. Can you imagine the conversation between Sinner's coach and him, scheduling extended hours for baseline repetition and specialized net practice, all while reminding Jannik that there is only so much time in a day? One might wonder if the short window they have for preparation will create an atmosphere of comedic mishaps or simply sharpen their sense of urgency. These athletes also have to manage the psychological load. Tennis is already a mental game, amplified at major tournaments. The possible scenario of Jannik Sinner glancing across the net at his partner and remembering that they have only recently exchanged their first sentences might add an unusual dimension to the inherent pressure of a big match. Could it bond them closer, building an us-against-the-world mentality, or will they sometimes catch each other off guard in the heat of competition? There is a delicate balancing act here. Sinner, who generally keeps a stoic focus, might find himself more talkative than usual, frequently turning to Emma to verify positions or encourage her after a tough point. And Emma, known for her composure, might become more animated if she senses their on-court chemistry is lacking. There is also the question of personal values and pride. Sinner grew up in the Dolomites region of Italy, shaped by a culture that prizes resilience and quiet determination, factors that have been integral to his climb in the tennis world. Navarro, with a background shaped on American soil, might bring a different approach to in-game pep talks and pre-match warmed-up routines. The clashing or blending of these personalities could be mesmerizing. If they discover a shared sense of humor or a mutual language of motivation, that might transform them into a crowd-favorite team that fans will rally behind all tournament long. If their styles clash, on the other hand, we might witness a meltdown reminiscent of the most dramatic doubles bust-ups in tennis history. Before we shift to the more technical aspects of the upcoming competition, let me drop a friendly nudge for those of you who enjoy diving into the inner workings of tennis. If you do not want to miss any future explorations of the sport's hidden stories, consider subscribing. It is the best way to stay connected with every riveting twist and turn in the tennis universe, from behind-the-scenes negotiations to triumphant underdog arcs that capture the imagination. Now, let us talk strategy for a moment. Mixed doubles is not simply men's singles plus women's singles. Point construction differs significantly, and so does the approach to returning big serves. The serve might come from the male partner with more power, but the female partner's return game could be more about outsmarting the imposing net presence on the other side. Quick thinking, angle finding, and communication can tip the scales. Sinner's robust ground strokes might help set up finishing volleys for Navarro, or vice versa, if Emma's incredible net coverage leads to a put-away that Sinner sets up from the baseline. But synergy does not happen overnight. Observing top-tier mixed doubles squads, you realize they have an almost telepathic rapport. They move in unison, seamlessly switching positions mid-rally, never missing those tiny cues that signal who will cover the lob or who will dash forward for the short return. Admittedly, forging this connection from scratch, especially under the glare of major tournament pressure, is a tall order. Yet, it can also be exhilarating. In some ways, having minimal prior contact might free them from overthinking. They can approach each match with a sense of spontaneity, trusting in their raw instincts, guided by the occasional sideline pep talk from a coach or the adrenaline of the crowd's applause. Could Sinner's sense of rising to the occasion and Navarro's natural gift for doubles create the perfect storm of momentum? Imagine the moment they step onto the court on August 19th. The crowd, lured in by the novelty, might be roaring in anticipation. Cameras will undoubtedly be trained on every handshake, every hush-hush conversation by the net. The first few games could set the tone. Maybe there will be an awkward miscommunication or an errant shot as they attempt to read each other's signals. Or they might start strong, taking the lead with sizzling returns and unstoppable net interceptions, fueling speculation that this quirky, last-minute power duo might be unstoppable. The stands are likely to be brimming with spectators, curious to see these rising stars in a format that differs from the usual singles showdowns. As we draw closer to the date of the standalone mixed doubles, we must not forget that both players have their eyes riveted on their Wimbledon campaigns. Sinner will attempt to demonstrate the progress he has made since the previous grass court season, while Navarro is going to muster her energies against Petra Kvitova, a woman with a record of Grand Slam accolades. Regardless of how they fare at Wimbledon, once it is over, they will be on a collision course with this unique mission at the United States Open. There is no doubt that a string of interviews will swirl around them. How many times will they be asked if they have grown more comfortable with each other? Do they have a shared handshake or a routine on court yet? Each new detail that surfaces will either allay the lingering curiosity or heighten the suspense. Particularly intriguing is that Sinner referred to the arrangement as not so random. That phrase conjures images of tournament directors sifting through lists of prospective partners, analyzing which pair would yield both an appealing backstory and a balanced skill set. Perhaps the organizers even had to sign off on each detail, ensuring that it kept within the official parameters of the draw structure. This behind-the-scenes orchestration provides a glimpse into how big-time tennis can remain dynamic. Indeed, while some might lament the loss of the old days when friendships and personal preferences utterly decided pairings, others see in this the new wave of professional tennis, constantly seeking fresh narratives, stoking excitement, and redefining the boundaries of the sport. While some fans hold their breath in anticipation of a momentous run to the title, others are simply enthralled by the storyline. No matter the outcome, the short time from meeting at Wimbledon to competing as partners highlights the adaptability and spirit of modern tennis professionals. For Sinner, it is a chance to test the waters of playing outside his comfort zone, trusting his partner's volley prowess, and learning a new style that might even benefit his singles game in the long run. For Navarro, it is a high-profile ordeal that could catapult her name into a broader tennis conversation. Having an elite singles player as a partner, someone with an international following, might do wonders for her reputation and fan base. Rarely does a single partnership hold so many layers of intrigue. One suspects that, by the time August rolls around, the pair will have squeezed in at least a handful of practice sessions to iron out the kinks. That does not mean they will become an unstoppable juggernaut, but it could bolster their chances of pulling off a surprising run. The tennis world is loaded with what-ifs, and fans thrive on such glimmers of possibility. The chemistry that emerges between them might shock us all. Whether Sinner's comedic, "I hope she does not get angry at me," woes hold up is anyone's guess, but it certainly sets the stage for a spectacle that might break the usual pattern of straightforward matchups. Will they rally with unstoppable synergy and create the highlight of the tournament, or will the cracks in their brand new partnership be exposed under the bright lights? However the chips fall, one thing is certain: sports fans will not want to glance away for a second. This entire saga underscores just how unpredictable and, yes, dramatic tennis can be at its core. We watch not only for the assured brilliance of well-practiced synergy, but for the sudden, mesmerizing spark that ignites when unlikely forces join together. One final thought as we wrap up. Keep your eyes trained on the official announcements and press conferences as Wimbledon unfolds. It may be that both players reveal more about how they plan to strengthen their collaboration. If you are someone who loves behind-the-scenes tennis intel and cannot wait to discover whether Jannik Sinner and Emma Navarro become the next big talking point during that intense weekend in August, then you are in the right place. Stay curious and stay tuned to every development, because heroics can happen when top-level tennis players throw caution to the wind and join forces. That concludes our deep dive into the mysterious but exciting partnership between Jannik Sinner and Emma Navarro. From silent strangers to potential mainstage sensations, they embody the risk, wonder, and novelty that make tournaments like the United States Open so enthralling for fans of the sport. We are all eagerly anticipating that first serve in August. Until then, keep fueling that tennis passion and never hesitate to engage further with this festival of unstoppable serves, lightning-fast volleys, and tension-filled rally exchanges. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and may you find your seat in the stadium or your screen at home ready when these two finally step onto the court, forging a bond no one saw coming. Safe to say, this is one tennis story you will not want to miss.